Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, low-level simulation exercises on Friday test disaster readiness. Labour Minister addresses the nation on Public Service Day, and the President's Charities Foundation continues its annual visits to local charities. Stay with us for details of these and other stories when National Focus returns.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. The Office of Disaster Management, together with key partners on Friday, carried out a low-level national simulation exercise. The exercise was done to test the preparedness, response capacities, and capabilities of government executives, operational staff, the national emergency agencies, as well as management of selected private sector entities. The scenario of the exercise was in response to a 7.5 magnitude earthquake which impacted the city of Roseau. Coordinator of the simulation exercise, Nicholas George, gave an overview of Friday's exercise.
For the purposes of the simulation and for control purposes as well, we limited the impact zones in 4 general areas: the financial center, the government headquarters, the Goodwill Secondary School, and the Fort Young Hotel. The exercise was a low-level national exercise with a high impact because we were actually testing the management processes of the executive of the state and to test their preparedness level. The simulation at the financial center was as a result of the impact of the earthquake. A fire occurred at the Ministry of Finance. That we were expecting, once the FS is informed of that, the building would have been evacuated. Similarly, at the government headquarters, there was a different thing. We had debris. So there was some structural damage to the building, and debris fell and injured a couple of civil servants on the premises.
As part of the simulation exercise, Nicholas George reported that the Goodwill Secondary School was also seriously impacted by the earthquake.
At the Goodwill Secondary School, there was an impact, a major impact, and a number of teachers and children were trapped. So that was the simulation, and that should test the responses of the Ministry of Education. And since there was a mass casualty event, then the Ministry of Health would have to play.
George reported further that as part of Friday's simulation exercise, 2 people burgled a room at the Fort Young Hotel. The occupant of that room was a high-ranking government official from Barbados. He informed GIS News that security officers at the hotel attempted to prevent the burglary but failed. They alerted the hotel management, who in turn alerted the police.
The Fort Young Hotel scenario would have brought the Ministry of Tourism into play and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Since the Fort Young Hotel is a flagship hotel in Dominica and a major tourism asset on the country. And so we felt as a partner, and they agreed to be a partner, that we would simulate coming out of the chaos occurring as a result of the earthquake, the looting that was taking place and so on. Opportunistic criminals were running free in Roseau, and they came and burgled a room at the Fort Young. Having entered the room, they were spotted. Whilst entering the room, they were spotted by security. So they ran into the room. Unfortunately, they found the occupant, and the occupant was a high-ranking government official from a Caribbean state. They held him hostage, and they began negotiations. And the police was supposed to respond. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs should have responded, as well as the Ministry of Tourism.
The coordinator of the simulation exercise also reported that the citrus propagation facility at the Botanic Gardens was totally destroyed due to it being sucked by a crater created as a result of the impact of Friday's earthquake.
The agricultural propagation facility at the Botanic Gardens was enveloped. A crater was formed at the Botanic Gardens, and that whole facility, which is a multi-million facility, propagating citrus plants for the citrus farmers on the island. That was taken. And the reason we did that at the gardens is to test mitigation. If this is the plant that is replacing our diseased citrus trees on the island, and it goes, how long will it take to recover from that? And what mitigation plans that are in place in the event something like that occurred, how much time it would take us to recover?
A total of 150 people participated in Friday's simulation exercise. The government ministries participating in the exercise included the Ministries of Finance, Social Services, Education, Health, Agriculture, Foreign Affairs, Public Works, National Security, and Tourism. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, the Fire and Ambulance Services, the Dominica Red Cross, the Public Works Corporation, and the Fort Young Hotel. A debriefing exercise was also held on Friday. GIS News will bring you details of that debriefing exercise in a subsequent newscast. Minister responsible for the public service, Honorable Charles Savre, addressed the nation on Friday on the occasion of Public Service Day 2012. Minister Savre, in his speech, spoke about government's appreciation of the public service.
Government recognizes the tremendous effort and commitment of public officers to the development of the state and therefore continues to make available biennially the funds necessary for this important activity.
The minister also highlighted a number of activities which led up to Public Service Day on December 7th, 2012.
This year, activities have been ongoing from April 2012 and the official launch took place in June 2012. The major events include, among other things, a hike on segments of the Waitekubuli National Trail, indoor games, football and basketball games, a family fun day talent night, a church service on Monday, December the 2nd, 2012 at the St. Alphonsus Church, and a panel discussion on OECS integration, its impact on the public service. Panelists were Mr. Steve Ferrall, Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Donald Peters, President of the Dominica State College, Mr. Thomas Letar, General Secretary of the Public Service Union, and Ms. Darren Grell, OECS EDU Information Officer.
Minister Savre made special mention of the Community Outreach Program, which served as an avenue for civil servants to demonstrate their humanitarian spirits.
In 2010, a Community Outreach Program was introduced as part of Public Service Day activities, and funds were collected from public officers to contribute towards a social cause. From funds collected in 2010, a donation of a fully automatic washing machine was made to the Northern District Home for the Aged in Grange, Portsmouth. A stand for erecting a sink for washing was also constructed. This year, from funds collected at the Talent Night and the church service, contributions will be made to the House of Hope in Delice and Chance's House of Safety in Jimmet. Public officers also visited with residents of Operation Youthquake, provided a meal, and participated in recreational activities and inspirational talks with them.
He also listed efforts made towards the theme of this year's observance, which was the public service, transforming, modernizing, positively changing.
For the benefit of the public service as a whole and the listening public in general, I wish to refer to some of the main transformation initiatives undertaken which may have inspired a public officer to craft the theme, Our Public Service, Transforming, Modernizing, Positively Changing, for this year's observance as a true reflection of the strides that the public service has been making. These include the Asecuda World System at the Customs and Excise Department, costing approximately 5 million EC dollars, The Unified Land Information System, costing about $2 million. Online Business Registration System, costing $220,800. E-Government for Regional Integration at a cost of $7.3 million.
Minister Savra's speech also noted that the public sector must aim to set standards of excellence. He ended with these words of encouragement.
No matter what area of work we are engaged in, let us seek to honor God in all that we do. Let us pursue excellence, and by so doing, help our country, our organizations, our businesses, and our people to grow both materially and spiritually.
An awards and recognition ceremony on Friday evening, where 80 retired public officers were recognized for their service rendered to Dominica spanning 30 to 40 years, was the highlight of the day's activities. President of Dominica, His Excellency Eliud Williams, continued his annual Christmas visits and made donations from the proceeds of the President's Charities Foundation to charitable institutions in Dominica. On Wednesday, President Williams went to Portsmouth, where he visited the Grange Home and the Reginald Armour Hospital. The staff at the hospital received His Excellency warmly, treating the delegation to a ceremony that included Christmas carols and words of encouragement. The President's Charities Foundation made their donation to care of the elderly in Portsmouth. It was accepted by Eugene Pascal, who had this to say by way of thanks.
I pray that God will give you strength, courage to carry on, and I pray that regardless of whatsoever come your way, you know with God all things is possible. And thanks very much for all those who make this possible for care and the underprivileged children and the elderly to have this check. I thank you very much. I'm a bit nervous, but as I say, with God all things is possible. And we will go a long way with the endeavor if we continue to hold side by side and walk in peace with each other. May God bless each one of us.
Cuban biomedical engineer Liubam Tersa, representing the Cuban members of staff at the hospital, commented on their efforts to improve the health of residents in Portsmouth.
Here we work together with the Dominican staff to enhance the quality of the health care system and the life of the people. We have developed excellent relationship with all the staff and patients we treat. It is also a pleasure to serve the Dominican public, and we thank the people and the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica for their hospitality. God bless this group of healthcare professionals and Dominica.
President Williams, who worked for a number of years as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, encouraged staff to press on with the tasks despite growing demands and limited resources.
The demands that are being made on our health professionals, whether in public or private sector, are growing every day. And you have to be aware of that, and more so because you work with limited resources. Resources are always limited wherever you go, never mind those who may wish to tell you that it is not so elsewhere.
The President also told them that their work is an important one, although the results are generally immeasurable.
As health professionals, you have a particular challenge because it is not always visible in terms of the results of your work. If I were to ask you, as used to happen from the Ministry of Finance to us, what do you produce in the Ministry of Health to warrant all this money that is being spent? Would anybody have the answer? Well, maybe difficult, but the truth is, your work is important because you have to keep the nation healthy. And it is good to know that if you don't feel well, there are a group of people who are waiting there 24 hours a day to deliver care and to help you feel better.
President Williams urged staff to continue caring about people and to never forsake their ethics. On Thursday, Dominica's head of state took his delegation to Dalis, where they were welcomed by Director of the House of Hope, Hesketh Alexander. Alexander extended a personal welcome to the President.
It is for me today a pleasure to welcome so early in his on taking up this job as President of Dominica to visit us. You know, I am very pleased for that, and I'm sure the school children will be happy to have a look at him early so that they might not forget him anytime they see him anywhere else. So feel free, Your Excellency, I think you are on solid grounds when you're here.
Alexander went on to give details of the purpose of House of Hope.
House of Hope, a home that provides 24-hour service, 24 hours care for persons with physically and mentally disabilities. House of Hope was started by the Sacred Heart Conference of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in Delis. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul is a worldwide organization founded in 1833 that gave help and assistance to the poor and needy. The society has functioned in Dominica since 1973 and in Delis since 2002.
According to the director, the House of Hope, in collaboration with the Christian Children's Fund and the Social Welfare Division, in 2005 helped secure a rented apartment for 2 orphan sisters and a 9-year-old diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Parliamentary Representative for Delis, Honorable Peter Seja, was a part of that visit. He had strong words of commendation for the management of the House of Hope.
I want at this moment to also recognize the efforts that have been made by Mr. Alexander and the members of the St. Vincent de Paul Society here in Delis, because really and truly they are doing a tremendous task that cannot be quantified in dollars and cents. Started from absolutely nothing, and today they have this structure and are giving care not only to the challenged people in the immediate area, but as far as the Carib territory. And we must commend Mr. Alexander and the members of his support team for the kind of effort that they are putting in ensuring that these disadvantaged individuals have a place that they can call their home. Thank you very much, sir, for that tremendous effort.
President Williams spoke of his appreciation for persons who voluntarily care for others. He mentioned that persons involved in that field usually do so out of genuine concern for human beings. He expressed willingness to contribute personally.
It is a work, as I said, you have to love it. You have to want to do it. It is a work that I'm sure is influenced by the Christian belief, because ordinarily one would not be giving so much of himself or herself to those who are not able to assist. So I will leave it to you and the board, perhaps a little later today before I go, to tell me in what way I could assist you personally in some meaningful way that you can continue with the work you're doing here. So here's hoping that all of you are here. We'll have a good Christmas. We'll hope that the new year will find you in good health and with many blessings, and that the House of Hope will continue to flourish so that that work you're doing will receive the blessings of the good Lord, and others will recognize that you are in fact doing a very worthy task.
His Excellency highlighted that in his opinion, service to humanity is the best work in which one can get involved, and he aims to contribute personally wherever he can. The visitors to the House of Hope in Delis were entertained by students of the Delis Government School.
Christmas in the past. These days, Christmas comes so fast. No more do you hear, Christmas is here at last, like in the past. It was cleaning and scraping, trimming and scrubbing, floor and ceiling, doorposts all shining. And that was Christmas in the past. New striped curtains, linoleum carpets, aluminum cups, plastic tablecloths. And that was Christmas in the past. Only new outfits for the youth, but from sales of bay leaf, spice, cocoa, and potato. And that was Christmas in the past. Ginger beer, sorrel, black pudding, smoked pork, pigeon peas, striped soup, all made a rich pot. And that was Christmas in the past. Seminal from door to door, friends and neighbors always wanted more. And that was Christmas in the past.
The President's Charities Foundation has handed out $35,000 in donations to 18 charitable organizations for 2012. The organization's final activity for the year is a children's Christmas party in the community of Salisbury. And that's the English segment of the news. Let's now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique fait appointement au board qui est gouvernement compagnie qui a reçu le contrat, bâti projet en pays là. En un mois passé, Parlement passé Procurement Act. Honorable Ambrose George, c'est ministre d'information qui était wind up debate là pendant session Parlement.
Procurement bill là, c'est un bill qui est bien important. Il a parlé contre contract, comment vous supposez mettre contract dehors. Il a parlé contre composition en special board qui est en place pour recevoir, pour conduire procurement contract. Il a aussi fait manière pour établir un unit qui est ni moun comme permanent secretaries, financial secretary, qui est aussi ni moun DIC à ce unit ça. Now, new muscle neuf ça, loi. C'est un qui bien important pour nous parce que c'est nous premiers qui nous sommes OICS là. Avec, vous savez que autant ni qu'à parler contre manière contract qu'à gouverner, contract tender, contract point place, moun ka de ou pas taper valet pour l'argent ou ka dépenser and so on. So toutes ces biais ça, transparency, good governance avec fairness, avec toutes ces biais ça et en loi actuellement. So là on fait passer en tender. Loi qui dit comment process la même supposé fait avec ces monde là qui a gouverné loi ça yoni pour faire que tout process a aller according to comment loi est. OK.
En d'autres nouvelles, représentative Labour Party pour Roseau Central, honorable Senator Alvin Bernard, bien plaisir quantité de travail qui a en place à ces facilités sport en ville Roseau à présent. Senator Bernard visité l'occasion la semaine passée.
Nous avons une compagnie offshore marine qui a fait travail là-bas. Yo a commencé jeudi passé avec moi-même bien satisfait avec manière yo ka fait travail là. Pas tout seul quantité de travail yo j'ai fait yon des jours là yo là mais manière yo ka approach manière yo ka fait travail là il ka bon moi bon confiance yo que fait un bon travail.
En d'autres nouvelles, département pompier ensemble et puis plusieurs d'autres, parmi Red Cross, police, etc., conduit un exercice simulation en ville Roseau Jardin. Exercice ça te conduit à une manière pour te tester habilité management des aspects là. Si en tous les cas, il était que un désastre qui bien grave passé en pays là. Plusieurs l'occasion gouvernement te évacué et puis travailler expériencer comment bagaille te yé si en tous les cas ministère des Arts honorable Charles Savren fait parole que c'est exercice ça là bien nécessaire pour mettre Dominique en position si en tous les cas nous ni un désastre bien grave et puis ça nous supposé faire pour adresser une situation comme ça. Et puis finalement, l'organisation Carrément a tient une série d'activités pour venir au bout du programme à yo qu'a conduit. Mettez attention à ces violences en toute manifestation. Organisation là qu'a branché et puis plusieurs d'autres. Mettez attention à ça. Monsieur Thomas Holmes, c'est président de l'organisation Carrément.
Le 9 décembre, nous avons fini toute activité nous, parce que nous avons ça nous qui un Family Sports Day. Nous avons avec partner avec Welfare Division, Dominica Planned Parenthood, Bureau of Gender Affairs, avec National Youth Council. So nous avons Dublin avec nous avons un Sports Day. Avec nous avons XP qui jeune homme même avec Tiboy qui viennent ensemble jouer avec among Koyo même avec Steve Légion, Guamoun, maman, papa. Especially c'est nom nous les sorti, nous les venus avec pour venir comme famille avec moutons les l'autre qui nous ça vivre ensemble et nous ça arrêter crime, nous ça arrêter violence, nous ça arrêter toutes ces qualités qu'a fait Dominique là qui a affecté tout le monde, qui a péché le monde, vivre la vie, yo supposé vivre là. Parce que nous, tout le monde vivant la vie, yo pas pour garder d'aide, yo qui monde qui fait yo méchanceté. So tout le monde qui aller ensemble, parler ensemble, en déyon les l'autre. Et bien, là nous finissons tout ça, nous savons que nous avons une bonne société pour nous vivre en dedans.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Thank you, McPherson. Time now for Flashback with Pearl Fontaine. Hello and welcome to Flashback. Leader of the Nation of Islam, Minister Luce Farrakhan, paid an official 3-day visit to Dominica, along with his delegation. His visit formed part of a 7-nation Caribbean tour. The minister spoke at the Arawak House of Culture and to youth at the Dominica State College. Efforts were made to revitalize the Builders and Contractors Association. The Dominica Coalition of Service Industries convened a special forum to discuss a reactivation plan for the Builders Association. The Northeast Comprehensive School received infrastructural attention this week. Another project recently completed at the Northeast Comprehensive School was the construction of an all-weather walkway for the convenience of teachers and students. And the International Labour Organization facilitated a project and business writing workshop. The workshop was organized by the Cooperative Division as part of activities marking International Year of Cooperatives. Dominica stepped up efforts to fight the citrus greening disease this week. 2 plant specialists from Florida were on island and are in the process of putting together a management plan to fight the disease. The Ministry of Education held an Early Childhood Development National Symposium this week, and the Ministry of Ports announces importation exemptions for the Christmas season. Farmers of the Northern Agricultural Region took measure to keep the black tickettook disease out of their farms, and President Williams visited the Northern District Home for the Aged. Those were the stories which made the headlines this week. Back to you, Jarna. Thank you, Pearl. Olive oil does the body good. We'll tell you why in our upcoming tip of the day.
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.
One health benefit of olive oil is that it lowers blood pressure since it's a source of beneficial antioxidants. These antioxidants are prevalent in extra virgin olive oil and are called polyphenol. They are believed to be the primary source to help lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure. To receive maximum benefits, men should consume 4 tablespoons and women 3 tablespoons daily. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Look us up on our GIS Dominica pages on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.
And that was Christmas in the past. A registered letter with US upon did make a difference when shopping in town. And that was Christmas in the past. Midnight Mass was for every class. Home medical duty everywhere you pass. And that was Christmas.